These students are struggling to learn the English language and be accepted in a society that is not always accepting and not always willing to embrace diversity. These students are in a strange land trying to maintain a sense of identity related to their native culture and also become American. These students are English Language Learners by Don Barr, Northern Michigan University. You may be asking yourself, who are English language learners? English language learners basically come in two flavors, those who are new to English and those whose native language is one other than English. The politically correct term for these students is English language learners, but they may also be referred to as Limited English Proficiency, abbreviated LEP, English as a Second Language, abbreviated ESL, or Second Language Learners, abbreviated SLL. It's projected that by 2010, over 30% of students in the American school system will be English language learners. In New York City alone, there are over 100 different languages spoken in the public school classrooms. The most common languages are Spanish, Korean, Cantonese, Mandarin, Chinese, Haitian, and Russian, and over 75% of English language learners are native Spanish speakers. The language minority population has a high dropout rate. These students are also amongst the lowest ranking in academic achievement and expectations. They represent an at-risk population faced with a wide range of challenges. It's important to remember that it doesn't matter if a student is a native English speaker or not, all students deserve a chance to succeed. English language learners encounter many obstacles in their efforts to become proficient in the English language. They often feel that in order to be fully accepted by their peers, they must abandon their native language, surrendering an aspect of their own identity. Social and political issues surrounding immigration and diversity in our nation complicate the basic task of learning English. Children cannot achieve success in an unwelcoming, intimidating environment. Many children are made fun of when they try to speak English and also when they speak their native language. So they end up silent and withdraw from participation. This further interferes with their learning and achievement. The English that English language learners are taught is academic English. Oftentimes, these students lack the ability to interact in a social setting with English-speaking peers because they are in separate classrooms and often have limited opportunity to interact academically or socially. Because of this, they often have great difficulty learning the slang or social English because they have no one to learn it from or to practice with. Because of these complications, it is essential for English language learners to maintain their native language while learning English. Believe it or not, helping English language learners is easier than you may think. Teachers should speak slowly, avoid using slang and idiomatic speech, use hands-on activities, frequent modeling, and relay information as much as possible to students' prior knowledge and culture. Positive social interaction can help students perceive the classroom as a comfortable and friendly place where they will feel safe using their new language skills and where they may find motivation for communicating in English. Label items in the classroom to build vocabulary and help students make connections to their native language. Have different media available for student use, such as books, magazines, newspapers, audio tapes, videotapes, or computer software to address different learning styles and also help build connections. To help students use English in appropriate ways, teachers should teach what language is appropriate in what setting so students can determine when to speak and in what way. For example, when to use formal speech or slang. Teachers should also recognize diversity in their classrooms, incorporate multicultural literature into the curriculum, and invite parents or family members to share their culture and talents with the class. Students need to develop an understanding of and appreciation for others considering the diversity of society. Learning about the students, their cultures, and their communities may be the single most important and productive developmental activity teachers can undertake to help any student, especially English language learners. This can provide a wealth of information about the students and their worlds. While differences may exist between the teacher and students' cultures, there may very well be some similarities as well, waiting to be discovered. Attending events or visiting families is an approach that lets students know that teachers are committed to helping them and interested in them as people. Developing a relationship with your student's family is one of the most powerful messages a teacher can send to their students, parents, or guardians. Non-English speaking parents may feel that they have no way to communicate with teachers. It's important to realize that they are in a new world too, and oftentimes they are experiencing all the things that their children are, in addition to having a full workload and raising their children. Having written communication sent home in English and translated into the student's native language can be helpful to parents. Many websites such as Google, AltaVista, and ResearchIt offer translations at no cost. Contacts made in the community, foreign language instructors, and other staff members in school may be able to help with translation. By learning about students, their cultures, and their communities, you will better be able to identify what resources the students bring to the learning experience. There are so many factors that influence the lives and learning of English language learners, such as immigration history, language use, socioeconomic status, educational history, and leisure activities. What kinds of responsibilities do they have at home? Are they considered adults or children? Are they recent immigrants? Were they born here? Where else have they lived? What is their schooling history? Don't be afraid to ask questions. The more you find out about your student, the more you can personalize their experience at school and in the classroom. Cooperative learning can be used as a means to promote interaction among students. This will allow students time for social interaction and enable them to develop confidence in their language skills. Through participation in cooperative learning, they will have a chance to speak and listen. English language learners need the opportunity to use language in interaction with both peers and teachers who are competent in the language and service models. Cooperative learning will afford the opportunity to develop relationships with their peers, and their peers will hopefully begin to value the English language learners for who they truly are. It's important to note that English language learners should be encouraged to maintain their native language. Studies have shown that students who maintain their native language while learning English tend to have more success learning English than students who abandon their native language. It is important for children to have a strong sense of self in order to achieve. Their native language is part of their self. They need confidence to develop friendships, problem solve, and master skills in language and content areas. They should not be ashamed of who they are or where they're from, and they need their native language in order to maintain valuable relationships with family members and friends who do not speak English.